Okay, I've got a different microphone set up. We're going to try it out, see how it goes. This microphone is directional, so if I don't point it in the right direction, I don't have any sound or any good sound. All right, who's in the chat? Who is here and who is not here? Let me see. I am checking the phone and going to my channel. See if I'm here somewhere. I am here. And the sound is okay. So who do we have? Wait a second. All right, there it is. Bren is here. Faith and Sawdust. Jesse, Graylin, Alan. Jesse gave me a super chat. Hold on. $20. Crafty Boombox Fund. That's cool. Thank you. I should get a better player for my introduction. The music provided by Danny Collins. He wrote that for me using some sort of software or something. Let's see who else is here. My chat is messing up. Wilderness Quest Outdoors. Jay is here. Let me restart this. My chat is messing up. Hold on a second. There it is. That's better. All right. Alan's here. Jim Cooper's here. I found your stuff, Jim. I found the stuff you sent me. All right. I hope this is it. Petrified wood, and he's got some kind of magnetic stuff in here too. I'm going to check this out. So I'm going to do that first. We're going to look at some stuff that Jim sent me. Keith is here. Richard, good evening. Are you going to Silver River Nap-In? No, I'm not going. No, I'm not going anywhere till April. Yeah. I'm going to stay put this winter. Let's see. That needs to be turned down a little bit. It's cracking this microphone. Okay, I'll make sure I turn down the sound a little bit. I'm using a different microphone, so I'm not sure exactly. But thanks for letting me know. What's up? Is everyone warm? I'm not. Jay, you're not warm? Jim says he's working some of that glass, trying for a wealth blade. I'll post it if I don't screw it up. Okay. Jeremy's here. What up? See, be careful. People can get copyright strikes from music on live streams. Yeah, but we own this one. Yeah. I mean, it's a new thing, right? You can just make music with AI. And Danny Collins made it and gave it to me, so it's ours. No copyright strikes so far. Red-Eyed Patriot is our moderator. His name's Michael. He's here. They'll cut your stream for prolonged playing of copyright music. This is not copyrighted. I don't think. I mean, if it is, I got permission to use it anyway. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know how it works. I need to look up. Oh, I need to ask Danny how he did it, because maybe I want to write some other stuff. Let's see. It's a bit loud. It's popping out on my end. Yeah. Okay. I'll turn it down next time I play it. I'm using a different microphone. I'm not using my phone's microphone this time. The voice sounds good. Yeah, I've got a new microphone that, as long as I speak directly into it, it works well. It worked a little bit too well, I see, on the music. Let's see, who else is here? Richard, Jay Valdez. There's some new people. Yulia's here. It's Gunny from Grizzly Forge in Texas. Tommy Taylor, live long and prosper. Chat is messing up because no one brought pizza for the party. Uh-oh. Richard, any other way I can get in touch with you for boppers? Jay ordered us pizza? Killer Cork is here. So I'm just checking the chat, okay, guys? Hold on. I want to make sure I say hi. Hello, everyone, says JF. Jeff Baird. Patrick, at around the 40-minute mark of your live stream, 40 to 50 minutes is when YouTube starts to recommend to new people. So make sure during that time you're napping. Oh, okay. 40 to 50 minutes in. All right, I'll try to remember that. Simon says, hey, Jack. Oops, come on. Jesse says I want to go collect rock tomorrow by Camp Verde. Verde. All righty. So we got started with a nice super chat. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to look into this stone that Jim sent me. This is raw Montana moss agate. Okay, so this probably needs to be heat treated. Let's see what else we got. Petrified wood. All right. So I'm going to be napping these. I don't know about on this live stream, but in the future, I'll be napping some of this stuff. This looks pretty good, actually. It looks a little bit tough, but it looks like it'll nap. A lot of these petrified wood pieces don't nap all that well. They might need to be heat treated if they're not already, just to make them easier to nap. Okay, this one, hematite, glassy. Okay, this is what I have to test on with a magnet. Now, I don't have a high strength magnet, so but I do have something with magnets on it. This little basket for the refrigerator. This has 4 little magnets. Let's see. Oh yeah, it sticks to the magnet. Awesome. Yeah, I don't have. This is the only high strength magnets I have. I tried another magnet on these the other day, a long time ago. It didn't work, but now, yeah, I can see where that sticks. Isn't that weird, huh? That is weird. So what is it? It looks like obsidian, but apparently not. Yeah, it's magnetic. Sticks to the magnets. So let's see. Let's try. I'm going to nap one of these pieces. And you can probably just stick them to the refrigerator after you finish napping them. That's interesting. So that's on the agenda. What else? So all this stuff came from Jim, right? I'm curious to see how that magnetic stuff naps. I've got some of this already, right? Or I have tried some of this already. Looks like he's already tried napping it as well. This looks like some kind of picture jasper. And they got some of this fancy obsidian. All right, I'll do a separate video on this stuff. I've already got some stone laid out for tonight's napping. And then I found this at the last minute. This has got some of that cool veins in it, this kind of obsidian. I got to read your emails because I forgot what this stuff stands for. This looks like a rhyolite type of stuff too. All right, we'll do this on a separate video. Except for that magnetic piece, we'll do that right now. I want to see, and I'm going to use copper, okay, just to see how this naps. Okay, so just excuse me. I'm going to do natural tools in a little bit. Right now, I'm going to try copper on this. Okay, because I don't want to mess it up. The natural tools are not that easy to use, so it's much easier to snap it because the natural tools are not easy to use. All right. All right. All right. So let's get into a better position here. See if this naps like obsidian or what. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to take the curve out, so I'm going to lose some length, but it looks like I'm napping coal or something. It feels almost like that too. It naps easily. It might snap easily too. I'm going to try not to run into the microphone either. I might rub up against it. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. That was easy. Yeah, and it naps a lot like a dacite obsidian. I'm not going to get the whole length from it. It's slippery like dacite obsidian. It's kind of buttery. What is it? I don't know. I have not looked at the chat. Someone probably told me what it is already. I think Jim told me what it is too, but I haven't reviewed the emails. I found this at the last minute, just before the live stream, so I didn't review the emails. Yeah, I thought I knew where I had stashed this stuff that Jim sent me, but I misplaced it, and I finally found it again. Let's see. I hope I said Jim every time and not Bill. Or whatever. Let's see. I had a hard time sleeping last night. And whenever that happens, my short-term memory goes out the window. So this naps really easily. So I'm going to nap this on a different video so I can get into this in depth. But this naps just like andesite. And in case you missed it, it naps just like andesite obsidian, but it sticks to a magnet. It's magnetic. It's got some kind of iron in it. Maybe it's, it's obsidian, andesite obsidian with iron as a mineral in it. Yeah, and I bet you it'll make an interesting conversation piece since it sticks to magnets. Once I get it done, the only thing is that this will break easily, so I got to be careful. All right, so what do I have planned? I got a piece of keel cook from Bren. This was February 7th, 2025. So almost a year ago, he sent me this as a challenge. See how far behind I am? All right, so I'm going to try this first. Let's see what we have going on in the chat. Okay, I'm going to interact with the audience, so you new guys are going to have to be patient. You'll see me napping, but it'll be on and off. Jesse says, the Spanish with metal armor would have been in big trouble with Pat's magnetic points. If you position magnets right, you can probably shoot an arrow around the corner. Interesting. Arrowhead refrigerator magnet, yeah. I don't think it'll stick to the refrigerator by itself. Flat base magnet point hafted with a magnet? Possible? I don't see why not. Jim says, Hawaii jasper and polychrome jasper. Okay. Hawaii jasper and polychrome jasper. Okay, so that's what that is. So Jim, I'm going to do those on a separate video so we can get into that in depth. What wizardry is that? Magnetic knappable rock. Yeah, ask Jim. He's the one that sent it to me. Jay made a sweet point from petrified wood from the tourist shop. I want to try some. Yeah, it does work sometimes. Patrick, what was your pine pitch recipe? I forgot. I like to mix pine pitch with gum base and or asphaltum and or some kind of rock dust. The best rock dust to use is pure talc, not the cornstarch talc powder, but pure talc is I guess it's a volcanic mineral, right? It doesn't matter how hot you heat up the pine pitch and the glue, it won't affect the talc, or it won't affect rock dust or whatever. I don't use charcoal in my pine pitch glue. Okay, so, and I don't use beeswax. So there's 4 ingredients that I normally use, and sometimes I skip 1 or 2 of those ingredients. There's, of course, pine pitch, and then there's gum base, and then asphaltum, and then pure talc or some kind of rock dust. Okay, or it can be pigmented rock dust. It can be red ochre, it could be yellow ochre, it could be, white talc powder. To make the pitch black, if you really want black pitch, you can mix in what they call lamp black, which is soot. You can get soot easily from the inside of a fireplace or inside of a camp stove or a barbecue grill or whatever. I don't ever use charcoal in my pine pitch glue. All right. And I never use scat either. Or any kind of poop. Let's see. So, okay. What else we got? Any other questions before I start? Yelia says, I think Jim is alien, UFO. He's sneaking magnetic dacite from his home planet. Yeah. Jim says, talc or gypsum isn't volcanic. It's an evaporate. It forms when mineral-rich water evaporates and forms. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was, I guess that's pumice that's volcanic. I got it mixed up with pumice. You can also use pumice with the pine pitch glue. Gypsum, yeah. Talc or gypsum isn't volcanic. Okay, thanks for that one. If I make a mistake, please correct me. Yes. Okay, why do I use those types of substances with my pine pitch glue? Because pine pitch by itself is very brittle, so it needs something in there to make it less brittle. And it also, it melts really fast and it gets all runny. But if you mix stuff in with it, it gets less runny. It does soften up easily, but it becomes less runny if you add stuff into it. So it gives you a little bit of time before it completely runs away and out of the glue joint if you mix it with something. And gum base just makes it sticky, so it actually sticks to whatever you're trying to glue, which is important, especially with stuff like obsidian. You need something to make it a little more sticky. So I'm using a quartzite hammerstone on this keel cook, and I'm going to be just very casually, slowly, and carefully chipping on it. I'm not going to be able to preserve a whole length unless I get lucky. Oh, I found my tape measure, or one of my tape measures. This is a different one. This is 8 inches right now. It's going to probably end up around 6. Yeah, it's a bad ratio. far as what I start with and what I end up with. What I'm trying to do is get a good angle so I can start thinning. Gosh, this is a serious challenge, yes. Seriously. It is way too thin right there. Is there a way to support it? Yeah, I can support it all I want, but it's still going to break there. The only way to prevent it from breaking is if I glue something to it and then knap. Unless it's glued on there, it's not going to really help too much to support it, but it helps a little bit, yes. Okay. I am going to support it a little bit, just in case. Just in case it helps. Because I need to get that angle on there to hit it this way, down this ridge. And hopefully it doesn't break. Come on. I need to swing. No, it broke. This broke before I could get a flake. All right, so that's more manageable, but that's still, with copper, I would have probably been able to save it because copper gives me a lot more accuracy. There was already some kind of weird crack in there anyway. Right in there. What is it now? 6. Bren says, I didn't want you to try it with natural tools because you're going to mess it up. Yeah, I messed it up. Still a nice turtleback on it, though, for the challenge. Right? It's a nice turtleback. Why don't I just use Antler? Antler shocks the piece more than the hammerstone. Yeah, it pulls even more. The hammerstone doesn't pull on it. Antler, it actually grabs the edge more and pulls it. I'm trying to be safe and not really stress the whole thing. The hammerstone will smash it more than the Antler, but it won't pull on it as much. There was some crackage going on in there. How's that? It took too much off the edge. What can I do? If I try to take a flake off from here, I'm going to take off too much of the edge here. I might not have a choice. I'm losing more and more length as I go. This snap's really easy, by the way. It's a heat-treated keel cook. Dang it. I want to get some more flakes to come off of this side. But you know how that goes. You can't always get what you want. Yeah, the surface is not that great. Let's see. I need to remove that turtleback with probably a nice big removal. That would be the easiest. I need to lower this edge down, and looks like I need to get rid of this anyway. So I'm going to hit that. Let's see. It looks pretty solid, so we'll see. Make sure there's no delicate edges on there. Come on. Come on. I think it overshot. But it took it off. See that? Yeah, big hits, big results. Overshot. Oh well. It laughs at me when it does the overshots. Yeah, but I had to do it. I mean, I had to try for it. I wasn't trying for overshot. I was trying to get a big flake to remove that turtleback. Okay, so now we can pick at it more easily. It's now 5 1/4. So what do we start at? What, 8 inches? Yeah. All right. So. Yeah, but that's not much of a challenge anymore. Anyone can do that. 5 inches is for wimps. Yes, I know. Oh well. Get what you get. On this channel, you just get what you get. Get what you pay for. Yeah, well, it was free, but I need to get my money's worth anyways. Yeah, I know. All right, let's see. Still need to thin this down a little bit more. Oh, what's going on? We had a crack in here. Dang it. That was my excuse. We still got some cracks right there. Crashing and burning on the challenge. 4 inches. Half the size as it was before. I like this size. Did I subconsciously smash it to pieces? No, I was trying not to do that. All right, let's see. Come on. There's some weirdness right there. Okay. I'm going to try for another big flake to get this thin down again. Let's see. Okay, good. It did not overshoot. Got lucky that time. Got lucky. Yep. That's better. No overshot that time. Okay, so let's switch over to Antler. Shall we? Yeah. Everyone's already been traumatized by the hammerstone. Let's see. Yeah. Come on. Now, back in the day that the Native Americans have heat-treated keel cook, because it takes like 600 degrees or something to heat treat this. Yeah, you can heat treat this in a fire. Easily get it up to 600. The hard part is maintaining the heat. But after you do a bunch of this stuff, you can get used to maintaining the fires. And with this, you may want to bury it when you heat treat it. If you want to do it like they used to do it back in the day with a fire. You can do open air heat treats as well. I'll get into that later. Because I'm going to build a little lodge out back here in my yard. And I'll have a little area where I can build a fire that's contained inside my lodge. So the neighbors can't say nothing. They just don't like open fire. Where I live, the house is built on a site that had a large house on it, and that house burned down. So that's why the neighbors are all jittery about making fires on this property. They witnessed the house fire. Yeah. And that was before I got here, way before. I guess this place was abandoned for a long time before my dad bought it. I don't know. There's still remnants of the old house on the property. Like if you dig down, I dug down and I found a big old timber in one area of the yard. So I got a metal detector that my friend Henry gave to me. I need to take the metal detector and go around the property and see what's here. There's also some old fence posts and some steel pipe, all kinds of stuff. If I dig down, I find all kinds of stuff. Anyways, I bet you I can find some coins and maybe even some jewelry. We shall see. So this is a white-tailed deer antler. It's a big, heavy white-tailed deer antler with part of the skull attached. So that's what I'm hitting with. That's the part that's attached to the skull. The other part is very pithy. Right? Yeah, you don't want to hit with the pithy part. Yeah. Can I feel it pulling? Not really, because I'm striking this very fast. I'm using the mass of the piece against itself. It reduces the amount of pulling if I go fast and snappy. Yeah. Problem is, if I overshoot, I ruin it. It generates long flakes when I hit fast. But I gotta be accurate. Yeah. Losing my voice. Maybe that's why I had trouble sleeping. Maybe I'm coming down with something. You see that skull nub above the antler is where it's at. Yeah, if you leave a little bit of the skull attached to the antler, it's a nice, very solid, dense bone right there, right where the antler is attached. If you use sheds, of course, you're not going to have that bone attached. You can still use a shed antler, but it's not as dense, and it's not weight. It's not forward heavy as far as weight goes. You want forward heavy because it helps to do some of the work for you. Come on. Making me look bad here. There it goes. Perfect. See? I was watching a video on platforms. I was trying to hit, I don't know where I was trying to hit, but the platform is on the flake. Anywhere on here is a platform, so the whole thing can be hit anywhere you want, depending on what kind of flake you need. So I don't call any of these areas platforms. This is the entire striking area or a pressure area. It does need to be prepared ahead of time, but you can hit or pressure anywhere on there. So there's no individual platforms. It's not individualized. There's just good spots and bad spots depending on the type of flake you want. The platform is right there. It's on the flake. That's where the platform is. So you can identify how this flake was removed. Yeah. How did you remove that flake? Where did you hit it? Where? I don't see. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, that must be the platform. That's what it is. Okay? And this is how Livestream points are made. Let me make a note of this. Well, what did I do? I cut myself somewheres. This edge is very sharp on this kind of flake, and Livestream points are made from this kind of strike, from the side because that produces a straight from base to tip flake. All right. If you take the Levallois flake from the tip or the base, it curves like that. You don't want to curve in the Levallois point from tip to base. You don't want the curve. You want it to be straight. I've seen the artifacts, the Levallois artifacts, the points are like this. That means they hit them or remove them from the side, like that. You get it? You mentioned that over and over again, and no one picks up on that. But if you look at the artifacts, look at the museums with these Levallois points, and they're struck from the side, not from the tip or the base. Okay? They may look like it from the top view. Oh yeah, it's triangular, and they struck it off down here. But you turn it to the side, and the ones that they think are Levallois flakes are curved like this, which is wrong. They've got to be straight from base to tip. Okay? All right. Yeah, but not all the Levallois flakes are like that. Yeah, I know they're not all like that, and we're not even sure if the resulting biface is a tool or simply a core that gets discarded. Yeah, I guess the answer would be yes. It's both. Sometimes it's just a core for flakes, and sometimes it's a tool. But nobody gets it right unless they've studied the artifacts very carefully and they let their eyes work for them instead of trying to look at the artifacts with their ears. Yeah. Because if they don't like what they're hearing, many people don't see. Their eyes just don't work if they don't like what they're hearing. All right. So here we go. I need to put a Band-Aid on this. Dang. What am I doing? Messing it up already? Yeah, making a mess already. Hold on a second. So let's see. What are we going to do? We are going to make a keel cook point. I was also looking at a video on 10-minute challenges. I think I might do a 10-minute challenge on one of these videos one of these days. I don't know if I'll do it on live stream though. It's best to do the 10-minute challenge when you've got lots of rock and you can film lots of videos and then pick the best video. Yeah. You did that on the first try in 10 minutes? That's awesome, dude. I know, isn't it awesome? I didn't even do any other attempts. Nope. That's seriously awesome. Yeah, you'll never know. What? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. You said I'd never know. Yeah, you never know how awesome your comments are. Oh, okay, thanks. All right, so the edges are too delicate, okay, for what I was trying to do with the indirect percussion. So hold on. It turns out I got to abrade these for Antler indirect as well. Imagine that. When I do copper indirect percussion, I need to abrade the edges a lot. Oh yeah, I was looking at a video where they were talking about platforms and abrading. I've switched over. I used to do the same thing. I used to have the same vocabulary as everybody else. But I don't find it useful to call these platforms. And I don't find it useful to get too complicated with the abrading. The abrading just removes the delicate areas. Okay? It's as simple as that. Why would you want to remove delicate areas? Because delicate areas suck. Easy. That's why. Okay? That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. If you think about it too much, it does not help your flint napping. Although it might help your attitude because you may think now you know a lot. If you try to overthink the abrading, you may think you now know a lot. So it improves your attitude and then you're that better. Yeah, that's always possible. But as far as the mechanics of it, No, you've got to keep practicing. Practice. That's what gets you better at utilizing the edges. Yeah. And just because you think you figured it out in one area of the point doesn't mean you figured out everything. Okay? I might have to switch back to hammerstone percussion because this is smashing it to pieces. Or it could be just crackly keel cook. Yeah, it could be just crackly keel cook. Let me see. How about if I try it with copper just to see if it's actually just a bunch of crackly keel cook? Because I can't tell with the antler. Why can't I tell? Because I don't know if it's the antler or the stone. All right, what am I doing? Okay. This way, at least I know it's not the copper if it gets all crackly, because the copper is consistent. And the plastic is consistent. The moisture and the air quality, the coldness, all that, it doesn't really affect anything. So I can see if it's actually the... Yeah, the keel cook is crackly. Hold on. It runs flakes. They don't break up, so it's not really snapping halfish. All right. So what am I doing? Let's see. What do I need to do? I probably need to go to something harder to nap it. But there is a crack here. So that's not good. It doesn't smash the edge, so I'm good there. It's just for some reason I was not able to get flakes that were traveling well. So I'm going to go back to a hammerstone and see that works. Medium hammerstone. The hard hammerstone was removing way too much. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I guess I'll use this one. It still feels too weak. Hold on. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. Yeah, it naps really well, but see how it's very crackly. Hammerstones are not affected by weather, so that's one advantage. Doesn't matter how humid it is or how cold it is. The properties of the hammerstone don't change. They do change for antler. So I can abrade and strike with the hammerstone. I gotta find a happy middle ground, the Goldilocks zone on the edge here. Not too much abrading and not too little. Right? It depends on what you're using as well. The abrading is slightly different with stone as it is with than it is with antler. And each stone is kind of different too, so it's not always the same kind of abrading with every stone, every hammerstone. Can you see the flake scars, or is that light too bright? I'm getting dust on the camera. All right, let's see. I'm trying to hold this loosely so I'm not really smashing it. Okay. Yeah, it's not making good contact with the edge. And if I try making exceptionally good contact, it does that. Gotta find a middle ground. No, it's not gonna do it. It'll take me too long to find that middle ground. So I'll go back to Antler, see if I can get this thinner, and start making it look a little bit neater. It feels too heavy. Let's start using a lighter Antler. That's not doing nothing. It's not doing nothing. Yeah, did something. How's that? Lucky? Maybe? I don't know. I'm going to drop the edge a little lower. We need to find that Goldilocks zone where all these flakes start to click. Okay, once they start clicking, then you can start cooking with gas, as they say. Yeah. All right, so I got to dropping the edge really low seems to work okay. It doesn't always work, right? Not always do you drop the edge really low, because you can get diving flakes and overshots. But on this one, it might be working better. Yeah, it seems to be okay with the lower edges. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of that, though. So if we hit that Goldilocks zone, we should start cooking with gas. Yes? And what happens when you find that Goldilocks zone, you can look for opportunities that match what you've been doing successfully. Go for the low areas first. Yeah, like that. And if there's no low areas, you got to create some lower areas. Yeah. Yeah, they've got to be very low platforms, or not low platforms, very low striking areas. See, I'm already getting mixed up again. Because you can hit anywhere along the edge and it'll do something. It just depends on what you want to do. So there's no real individual platforms. They're just good areas and bad areas depending on what you want to do. All right. And remove the delicate areas because delicate areas suck. That's it. That's it. You don't need to overthink it. Unless it helps your attitude, then okay, fine. If your attitude improves, your napping will improve. And if telling yourself that now you know a lot more about it because you thought about it a lot, may or may not be right, but you thought about it a lot and came up with some theories and conspiracies, and now you feel better, that's fine. Yeah, dude, but what if I am right? What if I am? But do you know if you're right or wrong? Yeah, if I If it works, that means I'm doing it right. Yeah, you're doing it right for you, for yourself. Your technique may not work for other people. Like I'm telling you, the way I'm doing it might not work for you either. It's working for me. So that's what matters. You got to find that sweet spot that'll work for you. If it involves conspiracies, then go for it, dude. Yeah, go for it. You can do it. Are we clicking? Yeah, we're clicking. All right, so what else? Where's the low-hanging fruits? Come on. I know you can do it. Yeah. We have the technology. Even though it's primitive, we still have the technology. Come on. It's too dull. Yep. So we've got side A and side B as usual. What I can do is I can get the copper out and get rid of some of this nasties on this side. How's that? Because I'm going to cheat. No, dude, just get out the indirect percussion with the antler and try it again. Keep trying and trying and trying. Yeah, I want to see some suffering. I want to see that you're suffering. You got to suffer for us. Yeah, I know. I heard it all. Some people want the video creator to do some suffering, at least a little bit. So that it's set up for me to thin it down with some copper percussion. Let's try the antler one more time. Yeah, if it's just too difficult, if it's too crackly with the antler, I'll make it thin with copper. But with more practice, I could probably thin this down a little bit further with direct percussion. Okay. But it takes me forever to improve even a little bit with percussion. I'm just not good at the direct percussion. All right, is that good? That's good. Let's see if we can improve side B, shall we? Yes, let's shall. Oh, it did it. It did it. Of course, I scooped it. Yeah, I scooped it a lot just to get that little bump out of there. But it did it. Okay. Now what? I just gotta keep going. See if I can keep thinning. Yes. I'm trying to keep this out here so everyone can see. This little antler tine isn't long enough. But anyways, never mind. If I start explaining too much, I lose my momentum. Yeah. I'm having to overlap on top of the edge a lot with this. I don't know why. More than usual. For something this soft. I had to overlap a lot with difficult and hard materials, but usually not with the softer like this. I can usually get away with not overlapping much at all, but this time I have to overlap the edge quite a bit, and it's still it's still crackly. So what am I doing? I'm trying to make it more even and less wonky. I haven't done much on the tip because I'm going to do that with pressure. Hopefully. I think I can thin that tip out with pressure. And yeah, I'm leaving it thick, taking the risk, especially when I remove flakes from here, this area in the middle. That thick tip is a no-no. But so far, so good. I guess I got lucky that nothing happened so far. It can break in the middle if the tip is too heavy. But good thing, it's also more narrow, so, you know, there's that. Okay, let's see. I don't want to hit it anymore with percussion. Right? Right. I may be able to remove a lot of these blemishes with pressure. Okay. This is my specialty, my domed pads. And it's not a biscuit. It's not made of bread. It's wood and leather. I'm serious. Somebody once asked me, what is that? It looks like a biscuit. Yeah, it's a biscuit. Yeah, that's what it is. It's hardtack. If in an emergency, I can munch on it. Yeah. Because I'm a survivalist. Yes. Really? Some people believe anything. The edge is not right for pressure. Hold on. How do I know it's not right? Because I can just imagine it crushing all the pieces. Hold on. It's the edge has got to be low with this stuff. Low edges. Okay. That's a low edge on that side. And what is this stuff? It's heat-treated keel cook. And it's a heat treat, so it should nap really, really easily like that, everywhere, perfectly. But just because it's a heat treat doesn't mean it's perfect. It means it's nice, but it's not perfect. Yeah. Why don't I use a slotted pad? Because when I use natural tools, I'm using a lot more pressure, and I snap them on slotted pads. That's why. Yeah, but you're going to interfere with the flake, and it's going to get all steppy. Yeah. Well, that's what the real ones look like. Yeah, but that doesn't count. You're not supposed to do it. You're not doing it right. Yeah, okay, fine. Slotted. Supposed to be slotted. No, it's not supposed to be slotted. How do I know? Ishi the Indian did not use slotted pads. That's how I know, at least in one case. Who's Ishi the Indian? Look him up. Ishi, I-S-H-I. Look up his toolkit. He used a roll of leather and also a little pad, but it was just a straight pad. What's a straight pad? Do I have a piece of... See, this is a straight pad, but his was thicker than this. He used a very thick piece of hide, like a moose hide or something similar to moose. Very, very thick. This is a straight pad, but you can also use a roll. Right? Where's my roll? So I think he used both, a straight pad and a roll. See this? So either rolled up or not rolled up. Anyway, I like the domed pads because I tend to snap these things if I don't use a domed pad. This is pressure flaking pretty good. Okay, so all I need to do is a little bit more pressure flaking. Yes, to get the right profile. Symmetry. Yeah, and if I need to take a big flake, I'll use percussion. But I think we're okay for now. And yeah, you still need to upgrade the edges, even with natural tools. All right, I need to get a different pressure flaker, right? Or no? Yes, I need to use a different pressure flaker because this one is kind of slipping. It's okay for the tip because I don't need to use that much pressure. But I can feel it's a little bit slippery because this is a cow bone, or I think it's some kind of bone. Bone is harder, right? It's more dense, I think, for knapping. It's not heavier in weight. It just seems to be more dense for pressure, but it's also more slippery because of its density. For some reason, though, it's weird. Antler is actually heavier than bone, but it can be more spongy too. It doesn't make much sense, but that's the way it is. How about this pressure flaker? Let's see. This is Antler, so it's going to grip. It's going to grip the edge a little bit more and be less slippery, which is handy for longer, larger flakes. Well, I'm starting at the tip just so I can get used to it, though. Okay? All right. And I call that a pistol grip pressure flaker because it's more comfortable for me. Some people can use the tine all day long. They can use this all day long. I cannot. I can use this for maybe 1 or 2 little pressure flakes and I get sick of it. Why? I don't know. It's just not, it's not comfortable at all. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like that. See, if I use a tine for that, it would dig into my fingers. If I tried to do a real hard pressure flake, it digs in. And I can't get a good grip on this side either. So it's all like, it does this in my hand. I can't stand that. See how it wobbles in there? This one I get a better grip on it. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, I got a braid for these. It's still a little bit crackly. I got a little bit of crackle stuff going on in the tip there. Or it's a natural flaw. Unfortunately, we have a natural flaw in the stone. But I think I can knap around it. Yes? Maybe? Pick at it very daintily with a little bitty pressure flaker. Yeah. Come on. And nap that out of there. It's gone on that side, but I can still see it on this side. Yeah. I still see it on this side there. That's good enough for now. Okay, so it's just a matter of being delicate with it up here. All right, so it's symmetrical. I do need to thin it a little bit more though, but for now it's good. All right, let's work on thinning the rest of it and getting it nice and even looking. Right, nice and straight and nice and pretty. Yeah. And I don't use long Ishi sticks in case you're wondering. I feel constrained. There's not enough maneuverability with the Ishi stick. This is the longest one that I use here. But, you know, I can start using the longer ones. It's just confining for me. Same with using a pad. Using a pad to do the percussion and all that, it confines me. I don't have this. I don't have both that or the follow through. I need the follow through and I need the maneuverability, and the pad and this kind of situation limits my range of motion. I don't like my range of motion to be limited. Maybe I don't need that much range of motion, but just the confinement drives me nuts. Yeah. Sometimes I'll need to change the angle quite a bit just to get past a certain little area. Yeah, dude, but it looks like you're confining yourself to motion when you do it like this, because I don't see any range of motion, dude. You're making it up. Yeah, I try to keep it firm, yes, which does confine me, but at least sometimes I can loosen up a little bit. That little difference for me makes a big difference. Yeah, nice. Is it eating the antler for lunch? Not yet. With more difficult materials, yeah, it eats the antler for lunch, and I got to keep sharpening it. And one good thing about these don't take up room in their kit compared to a big Ishi stick. And I can get a very good grip on this. I like my other one better. I might use this, but this one has got, oh gosh. This one has got a thicker tip, which means I got to put a lot more pressure than this smaller one. I can sharpen this, but I don't want to sharpen it right now because I like having the option of a thicker one just in case. Am I going to mess this all up with a bunch of cuts? Who knows? All right, so this is what I got so far. I'm going to clean up a little bit and check the chat. All right, the next stage on this is going to be some percussion thinning and more pressure on the edges, and I'm going to put notches in. Now, this is when Jay said the new guys are informed of my live streams, or the notifications go out, but I'm not going to be napping. I'm going to be checking the chat. So the new guy is just going to have to wait. Yeah. I've got to take a break too, because this next stage is very important. This is when you can break it easily, because it's going to get thinner. Hopefully it's going to get thinner. Okay. So what size is this? I'm glad you asked. Little over 3 inches, which is pretty much the average size of an artifact, a projectile point artifact in the archaic era. Okay. All right. Let's check the chat, and then I'm going to clean up some of these flakes, and so I can get a fresh start on the next stage. Dang, I missed a lot. See, I've always wanted to make a Clovis from that keel cook. If I spelled it right, shows the flake scar so nice. Yeah, it does. You should be able to do that at least one hand spring or round off minimum to say that range of motion statement, man. What is that? You should be able to do that at least one hand spring or round off. I don't know what that means. Let's see. What H just happened? What happened? Let's see. Did I just hallucinate him dropping the point and it magically ended up right back in his hand? Well, yeah, the video is probably choppy because it gives me notifications every now and then that you are now online. I'm looking at it. At first, when it started giving me those things a few months ago, I was saying, dang, how long was I offline? But sometimes it's just a split second. Man, did he just threaten the point with violence? Yes, I always threaten the points with violence if they're not cooperative. Yeah. Yeah, if that flaker comes up missing, nobody knows what's happened. Yeah, I understand the reference there. Mm-hmm. If the tine is too rounded, I can never get a comfortable grip on it. Yeah, it's true. Same here. Let's see. Don Reed is actually Gary. Okay, guys. Jay says, this is already an awesome looking point for Antler, Stone, and Bone. Well, thank you. Hopefully I can make it look a little more awesome. Yeah, hit the like button. Kyle says, for real, that was my stupid kid while me and my dad, what? Okay. So I'm looking for questions, okay? I know I'm gonna bore a lot of people doing this. Let's see, Mr. Jim. I don't know what débiteur is, but I bet it's French, and that's strike one. What does that mean? Oh yeah, I watched a lot of videos today because if I do something other than watching videos before the live stream, I take too long and then I'm late on the live stream. So I was watching these videos one after another and doom scrolling. And when it comes to modern lingo and modern or contemporary chat and social media, I have no idea what's going on. So if you look at me while I'm doom scrolling, my face is consistently a combination of frustration and confusion. I have no idea what's going on social media if they start using these weird terms, especially when there's a gamer talking. That throws me way off. Let's see, Jay, I tried Hunt Primitive's indirect antler stick for the first time today. Challenging, but it worked good. I will post a vid. All right, yeah, do that. I want to see. Hey, Sal's here. I need to find the fishing channel and learn to bait hooks and really become a master baiter. Dang, I fell for that one. Sal. Let's see. I'd like to get better with Antler indirect. Stuff just exposes me with Antler. Explodes for me. Okay, I see. You're trying a little bit too hard, yeah. You do need to strike very hard with Antler, but there's a sweet spot. Can't strike too hard, and you can't back off too much. Look at all the rocks we saved watching Patrick do it for us. All right. Okay. What else? Patrick, can you explain on the vertical punch antler flaking why the shorter something seems to do better, the longer ones don't seem to work as good? When the shorter punches seem to do better? With the vertical punch antler flaking, why the shorter punches seem to work better? They probably work better for you because they don't work better for me. And why they do and why they don't has to do with complicated physics that I don't want to get into because I have to see you doing it in order for me to understand what's going on. I just can't make a general statement. For me, shorter punches are terrible. I can't use shorter punches hardly at all. But a longer punch I can. and I'm not talking about horizontal punch. I'm talking about vertical punches. The longer the vertical punch is, it seems to work better for me. I used to have some vertical punches until I figured out the horizontal was 10 times better. And yeah, take that any way you want. Let's see. Where is... See, this one, I can use this as a vertical punch. It's long enough. So when I hold it, I can see what I'm doing. Okay? If I use a short vertical punch, I can't see what I'm doing, and it ends up not being accurate. Even if I can see it, for some reason, I tend to hold it in a way that isn't the same. I can't see with a longer punch. You can also see better the central line of the punch, so you know that you're adjusting it just slightly. Whereas if it's a shorter punch and you do that, it's harder to make the adjustment consciously. All right, you need to see the angle change a lot for it to register consciously. So I like a longer vertical punch. Now, you may have to hit it harder with a longer punch, but that's my specialty. I either hit fast or faster, or hard or harder. Okay, all right, short lesson on that one, or short explanation, hopefully. Let me clean up a little bit. I can still make arrowheads out of these pieces that got messed up earlier using my copper, so I'm going to keep these. These are not for you, these are for me. Yeah, but dude, you can just throw them away and then say, okay, instead of throwing them away, you just give them to me. Yeah. No, I'm going to use them. I'm greedy. Yay, we still have lots of people hanging around for the rest. All right, so what can I make out of this? Almost anything. With this shape, you can make almost anything. Yeah. All right, so if you have questions, you're going to have to wait until I get back into the chat a little bit later, because I'm going to go straight into trying to thin this down a little bit more and try to clean up the edges and then do some notches. Yeah. I'm not going to do complicated notches on this. And at first I was having trouble with crunchiness, but see, after you get used to the material, or after I got used to the material, I eliminated a lot of the crunchiness. There's still some right there, but once I got into that sweet zone where I got to drop the edge a lot to get those flakes to travel neatly and nicely, I got rid of the crunchy stuff. Okay, all right. And I can't abrade too much, because then it doesn't allow me to remove flakes with moderate force. I like to use just moderate force if I can at this stage. In the beginning stages, I like using a lot of force, but at this stage, I can't be using a lot of force. In the initial stages, a lot of force allows you to remove big flakes. It saves a lot of time, even though it broke into a gazillion pieces. At least I got something, and something I can work with that was reasonably thin, even though I lost a lot. Yeah. All right. Let's try. Did I break it already? I think I chipped it a little bit earlier. See, copper doesn't chip like that. I know, dude. I know copper is so good, but just shut up. Yeah, that's the hardest part of the whole thing. That little area right in the middle where it's the widest. If I don't do it just right, so to speak, it creates an island. Yeah. There are various ways to get over that or to deal with that. I could put a concavity in here and then drive a flake up the middle. It's risky though. But I think that's what I might have to do. Yeah. I already tried getting that mess cleared out from both sides and it didn't work. And that's probably why there's some variation in some of these points where some of them have concave bases and some of them don't. I think that's an allowable variation so they can clean that up. It is risky though. Okay. Did it do it? Almost did it. It almost did it. Did it do it good enough? It might have done it good enough. Yeah, but dude, you could have done the flute perfectly like a Clovis. Why did you knock it to the side like that? Like I said, if you do a diagonal hit, kind of not straight in, but a little bit off, it twists the blade a little bit, it helps to prevent breakage. Yeah. It doesn't always work though, of course, but it's one of those things that can help to prevent breakage. And I've said before that I can't actually tell you how not to break it. That's about the closest that I can get to telling you how not to break it, by giving you these little techniques that help to prevent breakage, at least when I'm doing it. Okay? If I hit to the side and then hit to this side and do two of these thinning flakes, it's safer than if I did one big one. Okay? Because the next thinning flake would go this way, down this ridge here, in this direction. It twists the blade rather than bends it. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. I think that's cleared up enough. Yeah, because what we're after is a smooth hafting area. That was kind of lumpy, so it would interfere with the hafting area. So what am I talking about? Something like this. See that? This is this handle is way too big, but you see how that, if there was still a lump there, it wouldn't go down deep into the haft. See that? Because now it goes past that area. And many times you want a deep hafting or a deep haft if you want a strong bond between the wood and the stone. Okay? This handle is a little bit too large. I think you get the idea. How about this? Yeah, how about that? Little bit smaller. How about that? It's still, see how it goes past that area? How did I know it would fit? I don't know. I just have this, I've been doing this so long that I had this little picture in my brain that can tell me that's thin enough. I think this is like 3/4 of an inch thick. That's like the standard. I don't have to guess. Let's see, what is it? I'm curious. Standard for my blades that I like to make. Yeah, 3/4. A little bit under. I think I cut it at 3/4 and sanded down. I said blade, right? I meant handle. For the handles that I make, it's 3/4 of an inch thick. And this is my typical handle. And a lot of times I drill a hole in the middle, like that. That's my typical knife handle design, okay? All righty, let's see. Does it fit in this other thing? Yeah, it kind of fits in that one too. Yes, it reaches the bottom. Yeah, it fits. And you see how that touches that area right there too. I like this one. This one works good. So I'm going to make some notches in it so it'll be able to be hafted into this one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll make the notches deep enough so we can haft it into this one. Although I won't haft it on video, I'll just show you that that's the goal. Okay, so I don't need to thin it anymore down here. I do need to thin the blade a little bit up here just so it looks better. And I scooped it too much right there, so we'll see if I can make it look less scooped. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I lost people when I started showing the hafting stuff. Dang. You guys are not hafters? Man, you gotta learn to haft some stuff. Yeah, we already know all that. We are hafters. We just know more than you do, so because you suck. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. Look at all that dust on my glasses. Yeah. The dust can interfere with the knapping, okay? All right? Trust me. Because it gets me in a bad mood. There it goes. Much better. Okay. Did it do it? Let's see. I think it did it. Yes, it did it. Okay. I can breathe a little bit easier. I mean, it's step fractured near the end, yes. But I can unstepify it. Yeah. Because it's close enough to the other side that I can take a flake there. Yeah. What else do I need to do on it? Up near the tip a little bit. It could use a little bit of a trim. All right. I should have done the tip first. Because it's weaker since I took that I made it weaker in the middle. And if I hit the tip, you know how that goes. Anyways, we're going to hit it anyway. Well, how does it go, dude? What do you mean? Well, if I just thinned it here and I hit the tip, I could snap it right there. Because sometimes there's a little crack, sometimes it's a little bit too thin. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I should have done that one first while it was still strong in the middle. Because I got to hit these edges pretty hard because I'm using natural tools. Yeah. Why don't I just use copper? Yeah, it'd be smart if I just finish this off with copper tools. Like they probably did back in the day. But I didn't say nothing. No. I'm going to thin the tip, and I'm not going to do it with copper. Nope. Just going to live with what I get. And if it breaks, it breaks. And you'll learn how not to do it. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me you're going to make me hit so hard that it breaks. Oh, it's going to make me do it. Okay. It's going to make me hit it so hard that it'll break. So let's switch to pressure. I think I can get that rid of that with pressure flaking. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Yeah. I scooped it a little bit too much, but at least it did it. Yeah. Cool. I could take another percussion flake there. Maybe it won't make me hit it hard. Let's see. It's all crunchy. It's all steppy. This can get steppy and crunchy too. It's not supposed to be that pitted. And it's not supposed to be too smooth either. If it's really pitted, it pulls on it. I keep saying that over and over again, but you don't want it to be pulling on your workpiece. You want a nice smash kind of hit. You don't want it to be pulling it like crazy. So that one developed a little crunchy area, which means it probably wasn't low enough. Maybe. The edge wasn't low enough, maybe. No, it just wants me to hit it harder, yeah. I know it. Okay. Let's see. I hit it harder. Is it good? Is it getting thinner? It went past halfway, so it's, in theory, it's getting thinner. But yeah, I think it did it. Yeah. Is it tapered? Well, after I finish pressure flaking, then we can make the determination if it's tapered enough. Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't think I need to do any more percussion on it. We'll see. I need to sharpen this. Hold on. I'm gonna cheat. I use the power sander to sharpen this a little bit. See that? Why? Because it just seems like I needed to. Yeah, now I can get in there better. I keep blowing dust off the screen, so excuse me for that. All right, here we go. Lots of pressure. Yes? I snuck up on it. Yes. Okay. Sneak up on something up here too. Did I sneak it? Yes, I snuck it. Yeah. So I minimized or I reduced the step fracture look. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of it entirely. Okay, let's see. Boy, that step fracture was deep. There's a defect in the edge there. That's why I haven't hit that yet. Let's see. I'm going to try to pressure flake through that defect. Just smash it with a frontal attack, so to speak. Yes? I still see some of that step fracture remnant. You see it dived. See that step fracture kind of dived in? That's why it's still there. I'm going to do another pass of pressure flakes. Now the edge doesn't need to be very low for these. So that's a little bit different than the percussion strikes I was doing. These heavy pressure flakes, I can do them off a edge that's in the center. It just, yeah, they didn't travel far enough that stopped right before the step fracture. Dang it. Here we go. Let's try it again. Yeah, that one just skimmed the surface. I don't want to use percussion. I might have to for this next one. Yeah. I want to try to do another flake into this area. Yes, I mean, it doesn't need to get thinner, but I'm going to do another big flake because it looks too flakery. If I could do a nice bold flake in there, it'd be better, I think, just because of the way it would look. So I'm dropping the edge down very low. Abrade it, but not too much. And let's see. Get rid of the excess. I didn't need that right there. So I only got one shot. That's the only convex area. The other sides are scooped out too much. That's scooped out and that's scooped out. So the only shot I got is right in the middle. I'm going to try for that one. Let's see how it goes. My flaker is already screaming that it doesn't want to do it anymore. Where'd it go? Because it's getting a little bit. Well, hold on. Let me reshape it. So I made it a little bit more rounded. It's not perfect, but I took off what I could see as pits and lumps. So it's a little bit more rounded. All right, so that might work better. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. Not good. It maybe hit it really, really hard. It did it. It's starting to dive, yeah. Luckily, they didn't dive too much, but I don't know. I like it. Yeah. I like it. That's not going to work. I mean, it might work, but I don't want to take a chance on. I don't want to take a chance on driving a big, long flake. Too many hard hits, and they start to catch up to you. All right, let's see if I can push a long flake with pressure. Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to push really, really long flakes. Maybe, maybe not. Did it do it? No, it stopped. It made a land bridge. Or did it? Yeah, it stopped just before. See that? So it's a slight land bridge. When it does that, when there's step fractures or there's flakes that stop and don't overlap, I call that a land bridge. Anyways, let's finish the pressure flaking on the edge. Yeah, nice. There's a bad spot right there. Let's see what we can do. Where's my persnickety flaker? Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can push on that. I didn't get to other stuff, did I? I was going to do something else too. Oh yeah, I was going to work on this with natural tools. That's a translucent chert, but I like this. I like the way this is going. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Maybe. Yeah, I could clean that up with a copper pressure flaker or a copper percussion flaker, but I'm just going to leave it. Let's try to get that little, let's get that little defect off the edge there. This is I'm feeling a little bit of deja vu with this. Have I been here before with keel cook? With natural tools? Yeah. It's okay. I'm using aggressive pressure for most of this, which means I'm not waiting for it to flake by itself. I'm just driving these flakes in with aggressive pressure. Why? Because sometimes if I don't do it that way, it crushes too much. I'm going to lose some symmetry to try to get that thinner. I'll fix the symmetry in a bit. See, I'm cutting into this edge a lot. But I want to get that tapered down just right. I'll sacrifice some of the edge. I didn't do it that well. That's tapered good enough. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do a row of pressure flakes down this side. I think I'm going to go to a smaller flaker. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you don't want to see me do this reshaping with a rock. It takes forever. Okay? Yeah, I'm cheating with the sander, but oh well. I'm going to have to do a little bit more persnickety work up near the tip. That little defect right there is stopping the flakes. Ah, come on. So was that? Yeah, that was the area we were working on earlier, right? I got that out finally? Yeah, okay. Yeah. There are two ways to sharpen this. I can take off little flakes in between, and it kind of ruins the flake scar pattern, or I can go on the other side and pick off areas from the other side to get it sharpened. And it doesn't mess with the flake scar pattern. You know what I mean? If you have a nice pattern that you're very proud of, and you don't want to go in between, like I was just doing, and mess up the high spots and mess up the pattern, you can sharpen it from the other side. You know what I'm saying? You can pick off the dull spots from the other side. Yeah, but doesn't that mess up the other pattern? Yeah. So you make a choice. Which pattern do you not like? That's the one you're going to flake into. Okay? All right. And it needs to be nice, clean snaps, like snap, snap, snap. No crunchiness. I've seen a lot of videos where there's a lot of crunching going on with these Antler tools. See that snap? Or hear that snap? Nice little snaps. And don't worry, it took me forever to be able to do it like that. Okay, so now we're going to do the hafting. Yes? Yes. Thick. This is really thick. It just gave me a warning that I was not live, and now I'm live again. Oh well. If the video is skipping, just hang in there. Come on. I need to get rid of some of this thickness on this side. I forgot that. I forgot about this down here. It's okay as far as the thickness in the middle, but I want to get rid of some of this lumpage on this side. See that? What am I going to do for notches? Let's think about that first. Do I go straight in? Yeah, let's go straight in. We're almost straight. So what I'll do is I'll hit some percussion strikes in to thin that down, where the notches are going to go. That's the theory anyway. It doesn't always work. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. See that? It's looking more symmetrical in every direction, almost, kind of, sort of. That's all right. Okay. Let's do some crunching. Now, these are not going to be super duper narrow notches, okay? Nope, nope. Can you see what I'm doing? And I got a really good grip on this flaker. I can't do this very well with a tine, an Antler tine. So that's why I'm using this shape for most of my pressure flaking, including the notching. I got to make sure that edge is robust enough so I can drive big pop outs. Otherwise, it's just in the crush and I'm not going to get a big pop out. Man, that's okay for pop out. And the notch, if it's more narrow than the thickness I'm notching into, it gets very, very difficult. So I'm going to be notching into probably about the same. The notch width is probably about the same as the thickness. So I'm okay, right? In general. If you try to go thinner or more narrow than the thickness, you run into problems. See, you run into problems doing that, which is a nice pop out. If it's too thick and you're too narrow, you won't be able to get nice pop outs like that, in my experience, unless you use a punch. Then with a punch, you might be able to, yeah. Can't be too delicate, because delicate edges suck. There. Yes. That wasn't that good. Oh well. Are we getting there? Are we close enough? Let's do the other side and see if we're close enough. Oh, wait a second, it got loose. Dang, it was tight a little while ago. Oh well. It looks better at least. Yeah. And these are passive pressure flakes where I'm letting it release by itself for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I'm adding pressure until it pops by itself. What is going on? What do I got in there? All right, time to sand it. That was weird, huh? Okay. Yikes. I slipped. So I popped off that barb and I slipped. Dang it. Yeah, I'm supposed to do that. All right. We'll make it symmetrical in a minute. But yeah, I slipped and made a mistake there. Come on. There it is. Okay, so, I mean, I can leave that barb like that and just make this one however it turns out. Like they did back in the day, but I'm going to make it symmetrical. I was using a little bit of leg pressure, and I think I slipped. Somehow my wrist didn't hold steady. That was a bummer. I thought I was in good shape there for a minute. So yeah, a lot of passive pressure. Passive just means I'm holding it until it pops out by itself. Yeah, like that. So I get these nice pop outs. You can get those nice pop outs with aggressive pressure, but it's easier with passive. Well, maybe not easier in terms of strength. It's just easier in terms of technique. It still requires a lot of strength. All right, I'm going to clean up these edges up here a little bit to sharpen up these barbs. But let's see if this will fit. Yeah, that's good enough. If the neck is a little bit wider than the haft, it's okay. Yeah. All right, let's sharpen this. What time is it? Where's my good stone? Oh, here. I'm going to sharpen up the barbs a little bit, both on the edge and the point. Come on. Well, I'm not supposed to be crunchy like that, but oh well. There it goes. See, it's supposed to be snappy. Still a little crunchy. There it goes. Yeah, like that. Little bit of jaggedness doesn't hurt nobody. All right, I'm going to do the tip. There's that little defect. I hope I don't pop the tip off. There it goes. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Yes. I see some dull spots, so hold on. Any more dull spots? Yeah, that's pointy enough at the tip and pointy enough on the barbs. Yeah. Okay. So what's the final dimensions? Dang it. I did find my other tape measure. Okay, so a little bit under 2 and 7/8. So it was like 3 1/8 before, or something like that, as a preform. So I didn't lose too much. What's the ratio? It's a safe ratio. That's what the ratio is. Safe. Is there such a thing as safe ratio? Yeah. Man, I banged up my thumb, didn't I? Well, that's all dust. Right? Yeah, it's mostly dust. Okay. All right, where are we? I am going to check the ratio, and then I'll check the chat. Let's say it's 32 millimeter by 6 or 7. 6? 5 to 1. Sweet. Yeah. And it's not crunched or it's not stalled at the bottom of the notches. That's the way I like it. It fits in the haft well. Yeah. Can I take some thread and haft it? I have some time. Let's do it. Let's see. Where are my threads? Okay, there they are. Oh. I stuck them all in one bin. I want to see how it looks, okay? All right. You got to humor me. This stuff's cheap. This thread, I got some expensive ones down in there. I think Bushy gave me some of those, and then who else gave me some? Somebody else gave me some threads. I think Mike Tufts gave me some excellent threads and cordage. All right, so let's see. No, you're gonna make me break it. Stupid thread. Oh, it cut it. That's what I get for having sharp notch bottoms. Okay, let's try it again. Dude, this is not napping. You're gonna lose half your viewers. What's the matter with you? I don't care. Okay, I want to do it. Gotta get some glue. Get some glue because you're missing glue on every single video. I don't know what you're doing. What are you thinking? I don't care. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking don't matter. I just want to demonstrate. I want to see how it looks. That's not going to do it. I mean, it's not going to do it fast because I'm so uncoordinated. That's why I can't do percussion. What else do I have in here that's thicker threads that don't break? That don't look lame. This is my expensive thread. This is my bowstring thread. But that won't look lame. I'm just going to have to use some artificial. I don't like using artificial sinew, but we'll do it this time. Yeah, we'll do it this time because this won't break. And it's kind of sticky. And it almost looks real. Yeah, it's just a little bit too yellow. The real stuff doesn't look this yellow. They're gonna. Oh, I know what the problem is. Yeah, that's what it is. Sure. All right, let's get this seated first. Okay, and then we can start cooking with gas. Yes. All right, so a little bit down on the, a little bit of crisscross. Gonna go at least once around before you go back up. And you go back down, and then go at least once around if you go back up. All right, so then that's how I would do this. Of course, there'd be more glue in there. There would be glue in there, and there'd be more showing. More showing. There'd be glue showing up on top and around the sides and stuff. And there's a little bit of a shoulder here, so that when you wrap it, it becomes nice and smooth. That's a theory anyway. Right? If you put enough wrap, it's all the same level. Yes? Yeah. I knew you would agree, because you're very cooperative. You're very agreeable. That's how it would look hafted. Okay, except it's missing the glue. All right. This is actually not bad. It's very, very sticky, though. It's got a ton of wax. I need to fix my thumb there. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of napping. I think it looks good. All right. Of course, I'm biased. Why did I paint this beforehand? I don't know. If I was going to paint these foreshaft, that's what I would paint it as. I'd make them. I'd paint it black before I put the black pitch on there. Yeah. And I put a little designs to make it look like mine, right? I did darken this a little bit too, so it looks more like the bark. I took most of the bark off, but there's still a little bit of bark there. Why did I leave some of the bark there? So it can be used like a knife. It gives it a nice grip. So you can use it like a knife or a spear tip. Okay. All right, so it's almost 10. Yeah. What else is there to do? Except clean up a little bit. Oh, yeah, I got to check the chat. And let me know if the audio is good. I'll continue to use this microphone. Yeah. The phone's microphone is really crappy. It craps out on me so fast. All right, let's see what we got. Do all your foreshafts have the same size base points? Do all your foreshafts have the same size base points? No. I have a lot of different sizes. Yeah. I have a lot of different sizes and shapes for the little dart foreshafts. This is not the only batch. This is not everything. I got a bunch of them. We've got this bone one here. These little dart foreshafts are all different sizes in the archaeological record with different depths and different widths. This is the one I used for the video. It actually has a wide notch compared to some of these other ones. This one has a very wide notch, this one here, but there's barely any wood on the other side, on the sides. If I was going to use this type, it would have to be a tough wood. And I think this is live oak, which is one of the toughest woods, because you want a tough wood if they're going to get that thin as far as the size of the notch. This is live oak, which is one of the toughest woods that you can use, native to North America. Another. This is also an Atlatl dart foreshaft with a different kind of notch, very thin. Okay, dude, you don't need to show us everything. He just asked you a yes or no question. These are all the different sizes. And this was like a experimental knife handle, right? Because it's split all the way down. And you just wrap it together. And it's easy to make a notch if you split it all the way down and you just carve out the notch. This was made with stone tools very quickly. Okay. And you can do the same thing with as a foreshaft too. You're going to have a split here, but you'll wrap it most of the ways, and then where you insert it into the main shaft, you don't have any wrapping, but there will be a split. Sometimes you can split it down to where it'll be inserted into the main shaft and then spread it apart and then carve out the notch. But I just split this one all the way down for a knife handle. But it can be done the same way for a foreshaft. And yeah, you can put glue in there too, but the old-timey glues did not work very well. All right, so that's my collection of Atlatl dart foreshafts. They're all different sizes. Okay. Why do I have so many? I don't know. I've had different projects that I worked on. Okay, so let me check the chat. Okay, Ralph says the audio is good. Awesome, awesome. I use waxy hemp on my bagpipes. I think it would work. Yeah, you can use waxed hemp, but just got to keep in mind that Native Americans did not have wax. What? Yeah, Native Americans did not have beeswax or any kind of wax. Unless you count, the kind of wax that beavers have. I forget what it's called, but you can get, it's kind of a fat type of, but it is a wax, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, Native Americans did not have beeswax. Let's see. Jesse says, I got some black colored artificial sinew the other day. I didn't know it existed. Yeah, artificial sinew comes in all colors now. Why don't you dull the notch? Is it for aesthetics? Dull the notch inside? It's just time constraints. And also, artifacts rarely have the insides of the notches dulled for some reason. You don't need to dull it anyway when you use sinew, but it does help if you're going to use a vegetable wrap and not sinew. Then yeah, dull the insides of the notch. But if you use sinew, you don't have to dull the insides. When you use vegetable wrap, it's not going to shrink, so you have to wrap it tightly. And if you wrap it tightly and it's nice and sharp in there, it's going to cut it. But you can wrap it, loosely, fairly loosely with sinew, and sinew will shrink. And it won't cut as it shrinks. It won't be cut as it shrinks. All right. That looks great, Patrick. He's halting it. Excited. Jay Valdez. Another fantastic piece, Crafty. Thank you. Let's see. Marty, I love Snyder points you sent me. It's best is your diagonal flaking style. Awesome. I need to see those. Folks, this is a classic example of Snyder-like blade that Patrick may offer in his auction. Sweet item, yes, yes. Yeah, this will be available in the auction coming up this coming Monday. I don't know what style this is. If it matches the archaeological record. I mean, it probably does somewhere. Most things have already been invented as far as designs go. I don't know what you would call that. All right, let's see. No questions? I'm going to end the stream if there's no questions. Let's see. Duckbill antler pressure flaker. Yes, the duckbill. This is the duckbill antler pressure flaker. Yep. I just need to put a couple eyes on this. Yeah. It looks like a duck for sure. Yep. Let's see. Who's the wonderful son of Knapping? Who is it? Patrick, do you think the best side of a point is the side with the best cover side? I don't know what that means. The best side is the smoothest side with the least amount of crunchiness and step fractures. This looks like it's equally crunchy and step fractury on both sides. So I have side A-1 and side A-2. They both look kind of equivalent. I might like this side better. I don't know. I like this side too. I managed to get most of the step fractures out, but there's still a few in there. It wanted to dive in when I was doing these bigger flakes, so that was an issue. This one is it's more crackly than the other side. But artifacts look like that, so that's my excuse. I'm just going to leave it. Artifacts look like that too, that with the jaggedy edge. I could have picked at it more with the small pressure flaker, but I would lose the look of these flake scars. It would look really flakery, as I call it. It would look too flakery. Yeah. All right, is that it? I think that's it. Convex side, Patrick. Oh, convex side. I see. Yeah, the more I don't know. It depends. Sometimes the scooped out side looks pretty good too, not just the convex side. Yeah. Let's see, Patrick. The older ones had the time to test their prototype points, or they just hafted everything and threw it no matter what. Yeah. Usually hunters did not hunt by themselves, so there'd be more than one projectile hitting the target. One of the guys had a good point on their little darts or arrows. Question refers to if the more convex side looks best. Yeah, sometimes it does. I would say probably more times than not, because you can get nicer flakes on a convex side than you can on a non-convex side. Jesse said, that was much fun watching from a crazy asteroid too. Castor wax is what they use. Yeah, castor wax is from beavers. Yeah, they could use that. Yes, but I'm not sure if they used it uh, for strings. I think they probably used the castor wax for their clothing to help waterproof their clothing. Like I would use it on my shoes. As much castor wax as I could possibly find so I can waterproof my shoes. That's what I'd be worried about. I wouldn't be worried about the wrapping on the points. Okay, I think that's it. Yep. All right, guys. I'll be doing natural tool napping on every Friday. And I'll try to start with the crudest thing I can start with as a challenge. This one ended up pretty small compared to what I started with. But I still got some good, I still got some good pieces I can nap later. This is actually high grade keel cook. It is kind of crunchy, but I've seen a lot worse where it has like defects that cause step fractures worse than what I was getting. I was getting step fractures mainly because of the delicacy or the delicate nature of this particular piece. You know, the endings of the flakes were getting all crunchy because it's so weak, that sort of thing. But other than that, it was high grade stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Next live stream is Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that will be a rock to point. Yeah, using copper. Rock to point on Mondays from now on. Wednesdays will be slabs and glass bottle bottoms and stuff. And Fridays will be natural tools, starting with cruddy shaped pieces. Yeah. Okay, that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Ralph says, how do you feel about keel cook napping? I like keel cook in most cases. And this one was pretty good. Yeah. I do like keel cook when it's not too delicate and when it's heat treated just right. Yeah. So otherwise, it can be a royal pain because it'll just snap in half really, really easily. Okay? All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.